Welcome back to Low Stress Math with Mrs. Bono. We are in Chapter 4, Functions, page 42, the Spiral Review. Because you have a test coming up, you should definitely try these problems before you watch how to do them. Look back at your notes. We have notes from Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 4. Did I skip? Yeah, no, Chapter 1, 3, and 4. Sorry about that. But yeah, look at your notes. Okay, so solve for x. This was from Chapter 2. So for this first one, you should look at Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. Chapter 3, equations. And it tells you, rewrite the problem, combine like terms, and then use inverse to solve. So let's start by rewriting the problem. So negative 1 2/10, and yes, please try to say it correctly. I mean, I know 1.2 is easier, but it's easier in the long run to know that 0.2 is 2/10 of a number. It's like 2 dimes out of a dollar. You have to learn some of this stuff. All right, plus 4x equals 2x plus 6 8/10. Now, you want to move the smaller, well, you want to move the variable with the smaller coefficient to the one with the larger coefficient. And because I'm crossing this line, so once you go over the equal sign, you have to do inverse operations. So if you have something on one side, you can combine it. But if you have to go to the opposite side, you have to do the opposite operation. And when you're combining like terms, remember they have to be like terms. Like I can combine 2x and 4x because they both have the variable x. But I can't combine negative 1 2/10 and 4x because they don't have the same variable. This one doesn't have a variable at all. So be careful. All right. Now the inverse of 2x is negative 2x. So I'm going to put negative 2x on both sides of my equal sign. Nothing happened to the negative 1 2/10. That's fine. Plus 4x minus 2x is 2x. 2x minus 2x is 0, so I don't even have to write it down, and bring down the 6 8/10. All right, now it's just a two-step equation. Once you've combined your like terms, gotten the variables all on one side of the equation, you can solve it like a two-step equation. So do the inverse. The opposite of negative 1 2/10 is positive 1 2/10. And when I say do the opposite, I mean completely opposite. So even opposite of the order of operations. In the order of operations, the last thing you do, right? You add, subtract, multiply, divide. You want to do this first. You want to get all the numbers without variables together. So plus 1 2/10. Negative 1 2/10 and positive 1 2/10 is 0. Nothing happened to the 2x, but 6 8/10 plus 1 2/10. Well, 8/10 and 2/10 is 10. 1 is 1 whole. So carry that, 6, 7, 8. I could put 8.0, but why bother? If it makes you happy, put the 0.0, but you don't really need it. Divide by 2. What am I doing? Switch pens, Bono. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. Now 2 divided by 2 is 1. And you can write 1x, but it's just kind of ugly, so just put 1x down here by itself. Equals 8 divided by 2, 4. And I know that that's my answer, but you know what? I'm going to check it anyhow. And here's to checking. Check. And I'm going to do that quick check on my calculator. I'm going to rewrite the problem, and I'm going to substitute that 4 as my answer. So -1 2/10 plus 4 times 4 equals 2 times 4 plus 6 8/10. And now I just want to make sure that what's on one side of the equal sign is the same as what's on the other side. So I'm going to do one side at a time. And yeah, I'm going to put it in my calculator. -1 2/10. You got to see what I'm doing here. -1 2/10 plus 4 times 4 is 14 8/10. So this side is 14 8/10. And I want to make sure that that's equal to, well, now I have to do the other side. 2 times, can you see the calculator? No. 2 times 4 plus 6 8/10 is 14 8/10. So both sides of my equal sign are the same, which means that I have the correct answer. So this checks. Now, if you do this and you get different answers, let's say I got 12 on one side and 14 on the other, first thing you do, check to make sure you did your check right. And then if you did the check correctly, go back and check your work. Be careful. All right. Now this is back all the way in Chapter 1, Exponents. So you would have to go look at that to get it, right? But you know what? I can put this in my calculator at the end and make sure I did it right. Okay, anything to the 0 power is 1. 10 to the first power is 10. 3 squared, 3 times 3 is 9. And 5 cubed is 5 times 5, 25, times 5 again, 125. So I'm following the order of operations. I'm doing the exponents first, then add or subtract from left to right. So 1 plus 10 is 11, minus 9 plus 125. 11 minus 9 is 2, plus 125. 2 plus 125 is 127. And now let's see how good Bono is at doing her work. So I'm going to put the exact same thing in my calculator. Parentheses, -4, parentheses. Remember that up arrow, this little up arrow here, so that I can put in the exponent, which is 0. And then use the little round button to get off of the exponent so that I can do the rest of it. Plus 10 to the first power minus 3 squared plus 5 cubed. Now make sure I did that correctly. Okay. It didn't do my, all right, that's 127, 127. Phew, did that right. Okay, now this one. -4 times -4 is positive 16. Squared is times itself. So this is going to be 3 times 16 minus 12. 3 times 16, well, 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 10 is 30. This is 48 minus 12, 36. Now, grab my handy-dandy calculator. You know what? I'm just going to see if I could do this on here. How are you doing today, my little friend? Yeah? Hey, Siri, what is 3 times -4 squared minus 12? Oh, it says the answer is 12. Do you know why? Ah, I can show you why. Siri put her parentheses in strange places. So, we're not going to use Siri. We're going to use a real calculator. Siri doesn't always know the right answers. Sorry, girl. Love you, but 3 parentheses -4 parentheses. Make sure you have the parentheses in the right place. That's why she got it wrong, by the way, because I didn't tell her where to put it. Squared minus 12. When you put it in correctly, you get 36 as an answer. So, yeah, there's that. Oh, look at this. Y equals negative 3x plus 4. This is the chapter we're in right now, chapter 4, well, not equations, functions. So now I need to remember y equals mx plus, sometimes minus, b. Now remember, m, like the mountain, has a slope. M is the slope, and it's right here in the middle of my equation. Oh, m for middle, m for mountain slope. That's good. B is in the back. B is the y-intercept. And we begin with that when we're graphing, but we'll get back to it. So right now, I'm looking for the slope. M is slope, so the negative goes with it. My slope is m equals negative 3. And usually you put it over 1 if you're going to graph, so you would rise 3 and run left because it's negative. So you would go rise and left because of the negative sign. All right, down here, let's take a look at this. List the domain and range. So domain, that's the x values. And range, that's the y values. And me, I remember it because it's alphabetical. Domain comes before range, x comes before y. But it's also sometimes, well, we'll get back to that. So the x values, in every pair of parentheses, you're going to have an x and a y. So the x is all the first ones. So 3 and negative 4 and 0, negative 3 and 1. So I'm going to list all of those, but I like to start with the smallest and go to the largest. Why? It's just convention when you're doing domain. So a set, that's little squiggles, that means a set. And the smallest number here is negative 4. So negative 4, comma, then negative 3, then 0, then 1, and 3. And close the set. Those little curly brackets mean a set. So these things, that's a set. And the domain and range are a set. This is a set of ordered pairs. Ordered pairs are two numbers, pair, that are together, and the order matters. The x and y matters. So this is a set of ordered pairs. And you know it's a set because it has the curly brackets. Now, parentheses, those parentheses, that's an ordered pair. And that matters a little bit too. So now I'm looking at the y's, all the second numbers that are in the parentheses. Again, I'm going to put them in order from least to greatest. So it's a set. I need to have my curly bracket. Now look at the second number, 9, 5, 1, negative 3, 1. Negative 3 is the smallest, so it goes first. And then 1. And then 5 and 9. And close the set. All right, so a set is in curly brackets, an ordered pair is in parentheses. I did something wrong with my ordered pair here. I forgot a comma. All right. Well, that's enough of that. I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye.